Hi everyone, this is May Park. Welcome to another video tutorial in my blog and YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a focal point on your card by building up the dimensional die-cut elements. This video is part of Simon Says Stamp Best Days Release Blog Hub, celebrating a release of new stamps, dies, and more. Make sure to check out my blog for more details. And don't forget to enter a giveaway for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Simon Says Stamp online store. These are some of the new stamps and dies from Simon Says Stamp Best Days collection. In this video, I'm going to use the bold flower stamp set and coordinating dies. I already tested out stamping the images on a print paper to get some ideas for my card design by looking at the stamped images. This step also helps me see my new stamps to get a better impression for my stamping on my project. Heidi Kroll from Simon Says Stamp was so generous to send me all of the ink pads from Simon Says Stamp Premium Ink Die Collection last year. I had a hard time choosing ink colors for today's cards because all of their colors look so beautiful and yummy. Anyway, I'm going to add a list of ink colors I used in the video description box below and my blog post, so make sure to check them out if you are interested in the colors I used. I didn't plan out my card design in the beginning, so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this stamp set. So I decided to stamp a bunch of images and I hope to come up with some ideas while stamping. This time I'm not using my Misty stamping tool because I'm stamping the images multiple times and I didn't find any trouble stamping these solid images with good impression. By the way, I'm using Nina Solo White 80-pound cardstock for stamping and I placed some foam pad underneath my panel to get a nice and good impression. I didn't buy this foam pad. It was a packing material from some electronic device packaging and I decided to recycle it as it's nice and sturdy. Stamping the images from the bold flower stamp set in several colors was so much fun. I'm picking traditional color combo for my flowers and leaves, but you could definitely go with some unusual color combo like monochromatic colors or neutral colors if you want to. Or even you can go further by stamping the images with white pigment ink on dark colored cardstock directly and color them with colored pencils to add some colors and shadings. Once my stamping is done, I'm going to separate dies from the bold flowers die set by clipping the connection points using my metal snipper. I'm also removing rough edges on dies to prevent from hurting my fingers when I handle dies. I'm storing my dies on a plastic tray temporarily for keeping them in one place so I can find and grab my dies easily. Now I'm going to do some die cutting. I'll place my coordinating dies over the stamped images and secure them on the paper using washi tape so they won't move while die cutting. After placing my paper between cutting plates, I'll be running the dies through my Spellbinder's Platinum die cut machine. I'm going to continue die cutting until I die cut all of my stamped images. I ended up not using all of my die cuts, but it's still okay because I can always use die cut leftovers for my future projects. I already pre-cut several papers into 4¼ inch by 5½ inches from different types of cardstock. I'm going to arrange my die cuts on each panel temporarily to see which cardstock will match with my die cut images. To be honest, I love all of these papers. What do you think? Then I ended up using wood grain white and wood grain bark papers from Altenew for my card base. To add some interest and details, I decided to add tiny dots in the center of my flowers using a black pen. If you don't like black dots, you could add some gemstones or nubuck crystal drops, or leave as is without any embellishments. If you are good at doodling, drawing some lines and circles along the petals will look so pretty as well. I'm going to mount my panel on the A2 size white top folding card base using Altenew glue tape. Next, I'm going to open my sentiment. Here is my plastic container full of sentiment leftovers. I store all of them in one place for future projects, but that's also useful when I'm not sure which type of sentiment will go with my card design. I'm just pulling out some of the sentiment banners from the container and place them over my floral arrangement. I think I like the gold hit embossed sentiment on white cardstock. What do you think? I'm prepping a piece of white cardstock with anti-static powder bag to prevent any stray powder from sticking to unwanted areas while hit embossing. I'm going to pull out the sentiment from the Simon Says stamp handwritten love stamp set. I'm going to ink up my sentiment stamp with the Simon Says stamp clear embossing ink and stamp it a few times on the paper. While the ink is still wet, I'm going to sprinkle some alternate antique gold embossing powder over the sentiment and tap the excess powder off my paper. I'm using my small paintbrush to flick away any stray powder. I'm going to preheat my embossing tool for about 10 seconds until it reaches its maximum temperature. Then I heat set my sentiment until it's completely melted. I'm going to trim my sentiment into a thin strip using a craft knife and ruler. I'm using my favorite ruler, which is a stainless edge grid ruler from Artist Loft. It helps me cutting out the paper without damaging the edge of my ruler. I don't like how my sentiment banner looks over my floral arrangement. The banner blocks too much area of the focal point, and the cursive font of the sentiment doesn't look good with my clean and simple floral images. So I decided to use all the sentiment from Simon Says stamp Hello You stamp set. Since I'm going to make 2 cards, I also chose the simple sentiment from the Simon Says stamp Love and Friendship stamp set. Once I'm done hit embossing my sentiments with gold embossing powder, I'm gonna cut them into thin banners. Now it's time to assemble my card. I'm going to move around my die cut flowers and leaves to find a perfect placement of each die cut before I mount them on the card front. And once I'm happy with the arrangement of my die cuts, I'll be mounting them on the card front using 3M foam tape. I'm using 2 or 3 layers of foam tape for some of the die cut flowers to give extra dimension. I spent about 10 minutes building my floral arrangement as I was too careful about the placement of each die cut. I also changed the placement of my sentiment banner a few times and I ended up placing it in the middle of my focal point. I'm using my T-scale ruler to place my sentiment banner in straight. To add some interest to my background, I decided to add some clear drum knits from Pretty Pink Posh. I'm using a jewel picker to pick up my drum knits easily. Then I changed my mind not to attach the clear drum knits on the background. Instead, I'm finishing off my card, leaving my background clean and simple. What do you think? Do you think my card would look better with clear drum knits on the white background? I have mixed feelings about it. I create another card with the same design but different card base. Which card base do you like better? White or brown? Before I go, I'm going to pull the camera back to show you how my craft desk looks like after my project is done. This is a clamp mount that I'm using to film the video with my iPhone, which cost me about $15. While I'm making cards, I love to watch TV shows like How I Met Your Mother or Gilmore Girls. As you may already know, I'm a very messy crafter. My creative brain works best in a messy place. How about you? What's your craft desk look like at the moment? Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. That's all for today. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And make sure to visit my blog to see more details of my card and enter the giveaway. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time with another video. Bye bye!